What do you think the three most important things to consider when buying a piece of property are? Good morning, everyone. Desert Horizons, AZ Off-Grid Unplugged RV Ranch. Another beautiful day. Gorgeous day out here. Supposed to get to like close to 90 degrees today. So that should be fantastic. As you can see, it's sunny skies. It's pushing close to the end of October. And I know a lot of people have already had snow and other crap like that. But I wanted to go over the absolute three most important things to consider when looking for off-grid property. People are always asking me about it. And I always tell them there's three most important things regardless of anything else. See, I'm looking at my water tank now. That's not one of them. That's not one of the three. Water is not one of the three. Even if you're going to do a big garden, it's still not one of the three. This is for long-term happiness and enjoyment on your off-grid property. The absolute three most important things. Like I said, it's not water. A lot of people would think it's price. I think price, well, that would be up to the individual person, but even me on a very strict budget, that was not the most important thing. It was why I bought this particular one, but this was right what I was looking for, right where I was looking for. So, but to me, the number one most important thing on where you live, the weather. I don't live in Alaska for a reason. Their land up there is cheap as can be. But I'm not interested in freezing. A lot of people are. They live up there. That's perfect. Great. Yeah, that's to me the absolute most important thing about where you buy your property. Whether you're living off-grid or on-grid, it doesn't make any difference, is the weather. You know, why would you buy a place up in Washington State down the coast in the rainforest if the rain drives you crazy? Don't move to Seattle if you don't like rain, right? You know, the same thing is don't move up to northern Minnesota if you can't stand the cold. There's a reason I don't live in Minnesota. I do not like the cold. So for my enjoyment of the property, it's important that the weather was favorable to what I wanted. Now the next two can be interchanged depending on your particular point of view. But I've always said, partly when I was driving around the country in my motorhome, I was always saying that these three things were what made me move. But the neighbors, if you don't like your neighbors, you're not going to enjoy living there. I don't care. It's just going to be something bothering you the whole time. Whether you can deal with it or not, for your long-term enjoyment, it's good that you either are friends with your neighbors or unacquainted with them, you know. But becoming friends with them and then getting in a fight, it just, or if they're crappy neighbors to begin with. But this is the spot right where I'm going to be putting the, I can't see what you can see, the cabin overlooking that way. Yeah, to me the neighbors are very important. Said you got to be able to get along with them. or at least tolerate what they do. You know, if you cannot stand polka music, do not move up to northern Minnesota again. And then the third one that I've always said, it convinces you to move on down the road a little bit. The scenery. There's a horse over there in the background. I don't know if you can see him. He's barely flapping his tail. I think it's centered a bit. Anyway, the scenery. You know, if you don't like, I lived up in Washington State for a while. I mean, I was fine with the rain. That wasn't the problem. What I did not like about it, I couldn't see a distance that far. I could see a distance this far. There was never a blue sky. You could never see it. All I ever saw was a green tunnel with a gray roof. It was always like that. Every time you were driving anywhere where I was working, I was close to the rainforest, not quite in it, but it was, you couldn't see very far, you know, a block at the most, a half mile down the road. But I love being able to see off in the distance like this. I loved Montana for that reason, because they call that big sky country, and it's weird because the sky does look so much bigger out there. Yeah, definitely find a place that you enjoy looking at every day, and I love this spot. I remember when I first came out here looking at the property, the guy had given me directions and he told me which lot number. Well, I couldn't remember by the time I got out here. And I thought for sure it was across the road. And I come over here and I was looking at this one and I was thinking, boy, I sure wish this was the property. Look at all these ocotillos. How beautiful it is there. I said, but at least if I'm out across the road, I can still look at this. Well, then when I went back and called the guy and told him I wanted it, he says, oh, no, it's actually this lot number. You were on the wrong one. It's like, oh, cool. So, yep, the absolute three most important things to consider when buying a piece of property, whether it's off-grid or you're going to live there in the suburbs, it doesn't make any difference. The weather, the neighbors, and the scenery. I bet you thought I was going to say price. Nope, it's not the price. It's not water availability, because if you pay more than what your property is worth, if you wanted it because of the weather, the neighbors, and the scenery, you won't mind. You know, an extra couple $100 an acre or whatever, who cares? You know, in the long run, it's not going to make that much of a difference. The water, I mean, you can see there's no water here in the desert. But I got that taken care of with my water tank and having somebody come out and fill it up with potable water. Over the course of 10 years, I may spend $1,500 on water. You know, there's no way I could get a well put in for that price. So, it's $150 for 2,100 gallons here. Like I said, that's for potable water. And then some people think, well, no, it's got to be close to a convenience store, or close to a store, or close to where I can get groceries, or... No, not necessarily. It's like here, I didn't know until after I've been here for several months that Walmart delivered here. I thought I'd try it once on a whim. I ordered some dog food to see what would happen. And lo and behold, 3 days later, a 50-pound bag of dog food showed up at my doorstep. Like, I love this. This is cool. So now I just put in another big order a couple days ago for more dog food and more food for me, and I don't remember what else. It's so windy here today. I was kind of hoping it wasn't going to be any breeze, but Ruger. Here's my Ruger in his hole underneath the RV behind the steps. He loves it under there. He dug out a hole right here so deep right behind the steps that I had to block it up so that he couldn't do it anymore because the hole was getting too deep and I need to drive out. So he's kind of stuck under there. Alright. So what do you think the three most important things to consider when buying a piece of property are? Probably not what you think, but you need to be very aware of these if you're going to buy a piece of property.